Hey, hi, it's me, Lisa Marie. Today, in our reading of the Bariatric Code by Dr. Steven Reyes, we are in chapter 3 and at the bottom of page 17. It's a new heading, chapter, subchapter, I don't know, whatever you call it, a heading in the chapter. Let me press start. You can only possess what you experience. Ooh. The contents of this book are based on the observations, interactions, and research of people who struggle with losing weight and sustaining it. I have met with thousands of patients considering surgical weight loss and have worked to help them get on the path to healthy living. I have conducted phenomenology interviews with people who underwent weight loss surgery to grasp an understanding of what it is they experienced throughout the surgical process and afterwards. I have spent hours upon hours reviewing transcripts and pre-psychological evaluations, coding data, and comparing that information to the body of literature on bariatric patients. As a bariatric clinician and coach, I have had the privilege of walking alongside people as they struggle and have celebrated with them during their successes. We can all learn from their experiences, as this book is a concise representation of what people have done to start living by the Bariatric Code. I believe these experiences are applicable to almost all people who struggle with health. In fact, I have believed for a long time that the way a bariatric patient should be living can serve as a model for the rest of the culture around them. And whatever your experiences has been to this point, amazing experiences await you. Yes. The stories and experiences of weight loss surgery patients have the formula, the ingredients, and the answers that revealed the code. I am thankful for their tenacity in overcoming their family histories, cultural influences, habits, and problematic ways of thinking that serve to help all of us in our striving for lifelong wellness. Then there's a little box here on this page that says recommendation. It is important for you to get a complete, honest understanding of your attitude towards change. It is something that is unique to the individual. There are probably certain aspects of your life that you're flexible and adaptable, and others not so much. There is no better resource than to read or listen to the classic work by Spencer Johnson called Who Moved My Cheese? It is a fast read or a short listen that will help determine your attitude towards change. First, you'll come to an understanding that change is inevitable, right? Second, you will recognize where you are on the clinging to the past versus embracing newness continuum. This insight can serve as a predictor for you as to whether your self-care lifestyle will be a challenge to maintain or will be a seamless transition for you. It will also give you a glimpse into how those around you, right, about how those around you will respond to the changes that you are making. Amen. And that is so true. I actually have the book, Who Moved My Cheese, because it was given to us as a reading a couple of times, both my husband and I, but at our companies, at our work. And there's a second one out now too. And it's amazing how you don't think you're resistant to change, or you don't think you're caught up in something until you find yourself when you read that book. And it's a very short book. It is a very short read, packed full of incredible information. So there wasn't a whole ton in that last bit that got me, except the heading of you can only possess what you experience. And that's how we're going to be able to move ahead and change anything that needs changing, or amp up anything we're already doing for us, for our particular way of being on our adventure, or journey as he calls it. But if you were with us on Saturday, I read out of the actual workbook of the Bariatric Code, and it starts with questions in chapter 3, which we just read. That's where some of the questions come. And we covered step 1, which was map your destination. So now step 2 says, getting honest with yourself. Having weight loss surgery isn't the biggest obstacle. Being resistant to change is. Amen. So the activity is to explore our own resistances. First, one change I've resisted making is. Oh, I did cover that on Saturday. The second thing was, why do I resist it? And the third thing was, list some things you can do to counter your resistance. And I know we did this because I talked about my resistance was slowing down again. So now, step 3, assessing your readiness. If you're still pre-surgery, you might be wrestling with reluctance or fear. If you're post-op, readiness will be evident in your willingness to stay committed and follow through. So here's the activities. Circle one of these. I feel ready. I feel unsure. I feel resistant. Circle one of those. Second point, what is holding you back if you're feeling resistant or unsure? Good question. And next, who could I talk to, a mentor, a support member, a therapist, for exploring this and to gain some clarity? Those are good questions, even if you are post-op, because post-op by now, whether it's a few months or it's coming up on a year, because the honeymoon stage starts to go away between 12 and 18 months, if you are ready to make the changes necessary for a healthy life and living post-op, how willing are you to be committed to that? You can still circle these. I feel ready, I feel unsure, or I feel resistant. And like I've shared way back at the beginning of my journey, I was totally ready and I followed everything kind of hardcore. And then when life happened and stuff came in the way and I regained significant amount of weight, I actually felt unsure if I could lose it again, because when I gained 3 to 5 pounds, I think I then hit 7 or 8, and I remember thinking, oh, this will be easy to get back off, and it wasn't. And they brought their friends and multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. And I ended up with a good 70, 75 pound regain, which I kept for a couple of years because I was then resistant to doing the work that it was going to take. And no excuse, except it wasn't that I was afraid. It wasn't that I didn't know. I was just resistant to it, I think, because some of the old habits that were familiar became comfortable. And that's what I used to stay where I was stuck for a couple of years. And it wasn't until May of 2025 that, through prayer and crying, and I don't know, I was probably in a meeting or something. I had a come to Jesus moment with myself that said, are you really willing? You know, do I have a willingness to stay committed and follow through? The answer was yes, because that's where I am now. I've lost all of the regain and then some, but we have to be ready. And if you're not ready right now, that's okay. Just know that some of these things are things that we're going to need to look at and think about and address when it comes to that time and you are ready. So tomorrow is the last couple of questions for chapter 3, and they look good. So we will do that tomorrow. It's living self-care versus dieting. There's an activity for that. And then weight loss surgery history lesson. There's an activity for that. And then reframing your struggles. Ooh, I think we all need that. And that will be tomorrow in our reading. That won't be our reading. It'll be our workbook of chapter 3. And that is the Bariatric Code by Dr. Steven Reyes. Have a great rest of your day. Oh, hey, Maria. Just watch it on replay. Nah, just watch it on replay. It's okay. I will see you tomorrow. Bye.